The Chillicothe Board of Education, roll.
Mr. Hartman.
Present.
Mrs. Shoemaker. Mr. Bonner. Mrs. Corzine. Mr. Mullins.
Present. We have, for the first time this year, our student representative of the board, Oscar Minkus. Oscar, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Oops, over there. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have our agenda in front of us. There are a couple addendum items. Anything to go over there on those, or?
Yeah, we're going to scratch the recommendation for Amanda Mickey for right now. It's under personnel.
Amanda Mickey?
Yes, under there for the, it's a department chair
Oh, okay.
supplemental.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion to approve. Moved by Mr. Hartness. Second by Ms. Corzine. Roll.
Mr. Hartman.
Yes.
Mr. Bonner. Mrs. Corzine. Mr. Mullins.
Yes. Next item is presentations. We'll ask the representative of the CEA to come up for the recognition of the 2019-2020 Educator Emeritus Awards. Treva, is that you? Come on up. Do we have a mic for her, Alyssa?
We are here today to honor two well-deserving individuals with CEA's most distinguished honor, Educator Emeritus. For Mike McCarter and Nancy Henty, the unique way we are presenting this award is of no surprise. They both have been described as the consummate professionals. During their tenure at CCSD, they faced many challenges with professionalism, kindness, and fortitude. But colleagues and friends remember their humility most of all. They made sure the children of Chillicothe City School District were prepared and ready to face their future with confidence and pride by always putting the children first and expected no recognition in return. So I'd like to extend our congratulations to our 2019-2020 Educator Emeritus winners, Nancy Henty and Mike McCarter. Please come up. Please come up. Mike McCarter and Nancy Henny. Congratulations. Did you get a picture?
I want to can we get Ms. Weinhardt and, yeah, give them a chance to speak.
Well, I'm not the Gabby one in the family, but I can maybe come up with a word or two. I just would say that I am very honored and humbled. Worked with many, many great people over the 30 years I was with Chillicothe City Schools. And one thing that's kind of interesting, I'm the third person in our family to have an honor from CEA. My father received this, the Friends of Education Award. And my wife received it. And now that I'm getting it, I'll no longer be known as the slacker in the family. So anyway, again, thank you all very much. I'm humbled and honored for this award.
I'll second that. It is a great honor to be honored by your peers. I can't think of anything that would be more honoring than the people that I worked with all those years and helped, I hope, through CEA and all the work that we did together. Those are good memories, and all of my teaching career, really good memories. So thank you very much.
You get on one side, or you get on the other. Congratulations. Yeah, let's get down. It'll look- We'll take a couple of seconds. Thank you, guys. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Nancy and Mike. Very well-deserved honors. Two of the best. Mike was already gone when I started, but Nancy was here, of course, and I know we miss him. So, but very well-deserved. Typically, that award is given out at our opening ceremonies. Of course, with the pandemic now, we weren't able to. So, I'm really glad you were able to do this to honor them today. Thank you very much. Okay, next items. Welcome to visitors and public participation. Would anyone like to address the board this evening? Seeing no one, we're going to bypass that and go straight to our student liaison report. We'd like to welcome Oscar for his first time of the school year. Oscar?
Hello, everyone. I'd like to say that it's nice to be back after not being here since in-person school ended last year. And now I'll start my report. So at the primary school, things are going very well. Both students and staffs are following the COVID safety protocols. Each classroom now has their own set of playground balls that are sanitized after outside time. They are currently working on a safe way to hold their Halloween parade for the students. The picture day at CPS was held recently and went well. They had a session for VLA students to come in and get their pictures taken, and over 100 students came in for that. The first and second graders recently got to go to Buzzard's Roost to see animals in their natural habitats. This was part of the STEM Muddy Boots expeditions. Miss Strasser gave a shout out to Miss Saliers and Mrs. Thornsberry for their help getting guided reading groups set up in every classroom. She also gave a shout out to the beauty counter consultants, Steffi Eversole, who donated 50 masks to CPS students. At the intermediate school, Mr. Tripp said that some students need a reminder to follow COVID safety protocols every once in a while, but for the most part, everyone is really good about following them. The teachers at CIS have been working on implementing scoreboards that track student achievement goals. These will begin to be used in October. The parent-teacher conferences went well, even though they were virtual this year. Many families took advantage of them. Mr. Tripp gave a shout out to Nurse Linda Doles, as she has been doing a good job connecting with families, the Ross County Health District, and staff members this year. At the CMS-CHS complex, COVID safety regulations are being followed as well. Students that are having difficulties following them are being worked through on an individual basis. The teachers are doing a good job getting outside of the classroom and outside of the building to give students the much needed socially distanced mask breaks. The students at CHS will have an opportunity to go to the football game this Friday. The students will have an opportunity to buy tickets this week and sit behind the end zone with the band socially distanced. The theme for this Friday is Pink Out to raise awareness for breast cancer. Club advisors are submitting safety plans pertaining to COVID-19 to hopefully get after-school activities up and running. Mr. Ballantyne gave a shout out to Nurse Natalie Harbert for her hard work making sure our schools remain as safe as possible. Sports teams at CHS are performing well. The girls' tennis team is undefeated and first in the FAC. Girls and boys soccer is undefeated in the FAC. Girls golf is second in the FAC, and the boys are fourth. The girls and boys cross-country team are looking to win the FAC meet this year. The football team is also undefeated in the FAC. This concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Oscar, thank you very much. Welcome back. Next item is legislative update. There was some legislation passed that had to do with liability of school districts to waive a lot of the liability during these pandemic times. A lot of that is already built into Ohio Revised Code, but what this did was really clarify it. So take all the ambiguity out of it. The next item we're looking for is an announcement from the governor's office about an increase in wellness funds that will go to mental health. I think we're expecting to get that this week sometime.
That'd be good.
From what they said last week. Is that still the case, what you're hearing? Okay.
I have a meeting tomorrow with some treasurers.
Okay, good.
Find out for sure.
Good. So hopefully we'll know tomorrow, but they are talking about an increase in one-time increase in funds to all the districts. So, and from the sounds of it, there's probably going to be pretty wide support in the legislature for it. So hopefully that comes through. The next item is a board action is approve a contract with PlugSmart for energy and air quality improvements in our buildings. Now, this project is, we had PlugSmart come in and look at this. You know, PlugSmart has done all of our lighting and things like that, and they've really done an incredible job for us. We already had some good air quality. We had some good processes in place for it with everything. But the one thing that this does, it adds ionization to the system. We're able to take advantage of some state grants to really lower the cost of it. So we're really getting this at a incredible price for considering it's $500,000 worth of improvements into our HVAC system. The reality is, after this is all done, this will be probably the cleanest air in all of Ross County. And just not because of the COVID, but as we're talking flu season, asthma, allergies, et cetera, it's going to be a huge benefit to our kids and staff. So I would like to make the recommendation and make the motion that we approve this contract. I entertain a second. Second by Mr. Harkness. Roll.
Mrs. Shoemaker,
Yes.
Mr. Bonner, Mrs. Corzine, Mr. Mullins,
Yes.
Mr. Harkness.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. That, and have they already got started on that? They did already start on it, didn't they? So, okay. So that will be done in a few weeks here, so. Okay, treasurer's report. Deb?
I'd like to ask the board to approve A through, what is the last name? G, sorry.
Okay.
Yes. G. Any questions on anything?
Pardon me?
Questions?
I don't have any questions. Any questions on this? I entertain a motion to approve.
I second.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
Second. Or go ahead.
Second by Mrs. Shoemaker. Roll.
Mrs. Shoemaker,
Yes.
Mr. Bonner, Mrs. Corzine, Mr. Mullins,
Yes.
Mr. Harkness.
Yes.
Anything else, Deb?
Nope.
Thank you very much. Debbie?
Okay, I'd like to ask the board to approve A through G, please.
With addendums, et cetera, there, so,
And the correction is noted at the beginning, correct?
yes. I'll make the motion.
Second.
Second by Mr. Harkness. Roll.
Bottom. Oh my gosh, it's horrible.
Yeah, there's a
Long
bunch of
one.
them.
Yeah, it's a
Mrs.
lot.
Corzine, Mr. Mullins,
Yes.
Mr. Harkness,
Yes.
Mrs. Shoemaker,
Yes.
Mr. Bonner.
Debbie, I believe we have an introduction to make.
Yeah, Corey, come on down here. Say hi to everybody. Oh, sorry.
Now, anyone who's been around for a little while will remember Corey when he was with us
Little
before,
girl's
but he hasn't
coming
been
with
with us for a few years, so.
Daughter's right behind you.
Slightly different position previously.
Yeah. Oh, you got to help her? Okay, good.
All right.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Corey. It's great to be back, and I'm excited to get started.
Corey, welcome back.
Having Corey will make things pretty seamless with Josh leaving. Obviously, we wish Josh well. He's done a great job for us. I think Corey will make things run very smoothly, given the fact that Josh has been here so long. So we appreciate him leaving St. Trace and coming to us.
Okay. Anything else, Debbie?
No, thank you.
Okay. Discussion informational items. Board have anything or? We can chat a little bit. First off, I want to thank everyone involved with the school year this year. Today we started our 8th week.
Yeah.
I think we've attended class more than any public school in the state of Ohio. There may be a private school or two who has attended as much as we have, but we have held more classes than anyone in the state as far as public education. In very few cases, congratulations to everyone, our teachers for working hard in the classrooms, our administrators, Debbie, Aaron's done a heck of a job getting us going here. Alyssa, Kathy, thank you for everything you've done. it's a real testament. I mean, these are difficult times, and it's just a real testament to how everyone's performed. So first off, congratulations to everyone. Second, if you read Debbie's our superintendent's report yesterday, she talked about the need to take a look at our administrative team. And we had these discussions months ago initially. And of course, we had COVID, we had a lot of issues going on, so that all kind of got pushed to the side. And so she brought that back up again, and I want to bring that up to the board. Of note, I think she said in there, we haven't replaced an assistant superintendent, HR/purchasing, special ed, preschool. And we went from before this hit, we were meeting with architects about constructing or renovating a new early childhood education center to cutting classes. Well, now we need to get back to building or renovating a new early, childhood education center. My thoughts are, as we're looking at this, is we let Debbie take a look at it and see where things are dropping and see what they think we need to do, if we need to add a position or two, if we need to readjust titles, et cetera. So I just want to gather feedback from the board as far as your thoughts on this. So rather than us tell them how to restructure or what to do, I think we let them tell us what they think works best.
Whatever the needs are.
Okay. Okay. Jeff?
I guess I would ask that, one, we look at every position. We look at their duties. We look at who's doing what. We look at, is the right people in the right places? Do we need more people? Do we need fewer people? Do we need part-time versus full-time? But job descriptions as well. I mean, I've got a whole packet full where we've been given job descriptions previously.
Over the years, yeah.
Yeah, over the years. But
yeah.
Are those still accurate? Do we have the folks doing the right thing in the right position at the right time? Or are we heavy? Are we light? If we need more people, we need to know that, because we can't fix it if we don't know what you need. And then can we afford what we need?
Yeah.
Obviously.
So, from those points, I was talking to Debbie Lawwell on some of this. And when you look at some things, right now, we are paying a consultant to work with us on facilities and maintenance. We're paying outside staff to do Title IX work for us. I mean, that's over $50,000 right there. I mean, that's over half of what a new administrator would be.
Right.
Are we truly maximizing our purchasing, et cetera? Are there savings involved there potentially? Debbie and I have talked about that.
Debbie and I've talked about it also.
Yeah, you've talked with her about it. So I think there could be a lot of offset on this.
Yeah, but I'm really interested to hear what you guys tell us about your departments and what's going on
I
in
think
there.
that's a good idea.
And, like I said, is the right person in the right position, or do we have folks we need to shuffle around? Do we need more? Do we need less?
Okay.
I can't guess. So
Well,
I'd like to have you look at all of that now that the pandemic's, like almost gone or whatever.
Yeah, boy.
depending on who you
There's
listen
that.
to.
Yeah, boy.
Well, some of the things, and I didn't really mention this in your email. I mean, obviously special ed is the beast, but I attended a law conference on Tuesday last week because they are changing the rules to IDEA in Ohio for next school year. And those changes are significant. Once I sat through that 4-hour conference, I was like, oh my goodness. To say that there's changes, well, that requires we have 24 special ed teachers here, and helping them understand what all those changes is pretty significant. Obviously with special ed, anything in special ed has a dollar amount tied to it, whether we do it right or we don't do it right. So that's one big area of concern I have. Also, the rules to Title IX investigations changed over the summer. There was some talk that they were going to rescind those, but they did not. The Title IX rules and how to be investigated now, it requires 4 people to do an investigation now, whereas before it was 1. And so that's a significant change. Another piece that's pretty important that we've really not been able to even touch because we don't really have the personnel is the diversity, equity, and inclusion, not only for staff, but for students as well. With our online program, as big as it is, with 38% of our kids online, there's a lot of concerns about kids with disabilities, whether they're on a 504 or they're at risk or they're on an IEP, having equal access to the same learning that other kids that don't have those disabilities has. And although we've got special ed teachers assigned to that, those special ed teachers are only working on the IEP goals. They're not working on content instruction. So that's not an area of expertise for our regular ed teachers. They do a great job trying to provide accommodations. But that's another big concern of mine is our online programming. If we're going to continue to grow that, which I believe we're all committed to, we're going to have to pay some pretty big attention to the accessibility and inclusion part of that for our students with disabilities. And right now, our students with disability population, and that's just IEPs, that's not 504s, is 14%. That's a lot of kids. So,
So what's our 504, Debbie? What's really?
I don't know, because they don't really
Yeah,
calculate
yeah.
that on the report card. I don't know what that percentage is, but it's significant. We have a lot of kids on a 504. Those documents also have to be updated every year. And then obviously with human resource, that thing is parceled out between 4 people. That's not a great way to do business.
No.
There are 4 people working hard, but don't necessarily have the expertise in those areas to take care of some of the issues that we've been encountering lately. So I appreciate you at least allowing us to take
Yeah,
a look
so
at it.
I think you two work together and, you know, if we can put costs associated with a lot of these, let's do that. You kind of talked about equity, et cetera, which kind of ties into my next item is, and we talked about the Virtual Learning Academy, online education. Yes.
I agree that special ed is a big, we need to we have an average of, we have 8.9 special ed development in state average. We're in a 5 state average for that.
I couldn't hear what she said.
I did, yeah. We're lower. We don't, based on the state average, we don't have enough special ed teachers.
That's correct. And she's not incorrect. Our special ed
Yeah.
teachers have big cases.
And now I know we've had problems in the past getting qualified special ed
Yeah,
teachers.
yeah. And, you know,
No,
some of our
that's-
special ed teachers are carrying 25, 30 kids on caseload. And when you really
That's a
want to
lot,
make
yeah.
a dent in
That's why.
those students, closing their gap, and they're getting 20 minutes a week, 30 minutes a week from a special ed teacher, that's not
that-
going to do it.
So all that ties into the next thing. Okay? Go ahead, yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time.
Yeah, I
No, you go on, you know, about the finances of this, you have a breakdown, this, what we're spending on administration, what percent of the total budget is that compared to the teaching staff and everything else?
We'll
I'd like to
definitely
look
look
at
at
the
that, absolutely.
of how much we're spending. And I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing.
No, it's understandable. So as part of that, you know, and Bill, what you said ties into this also is as we look at our online education, right now, 30% of our students are participating online.
38%.
38%, yeah, 38. So we've had, Debbie and I have had discussions about this over the last couple of weeks. This isn't going away. So next school year, if things are starting to return to normal, the online's not going away. I think our best guess is 10 to 15% of our students will always want to be online. Right now, we're using the VLA. We are augmenting that with our teachers, which is much better than just leaving the VLA out there as a standalone software. It's not a quality product. You know, I'm very glad that we've got our teachers involved with that to help. We need to develop our own online academy. We need to develop something that is you know, gives a quality education. And now, my treasurer's not going to like this, but that's going to involve hiring more teachers. It's going to involve an infrastructure purchase. But there again, as we talk about cost offsets, we had a number of people, we had people outside of Ross County open and roll into our district because of our online education. If we put a quality one together, that will continue.
Mhm.
You know, we'll enroll kids from my hometown of Gallipolis and Jackson and Athens and Logan, et cetera, if we have a quality product. So I would like to, in the next couple of weeks, maybe, Debbie, if we can find a time, to have a special meeting to talk about not only online, but let's think of it as alternate education, which kind of ties into administrative restructuring, et cetera. You know, if we're going to have to devote a lot of time to this alternative, and the reason I say all alternate, I want to hear about Bridges Academy. Is that working? We already know Roten. None of us has ever liked Roten. You know, kids get lost out there, and they're just done when they go out there. We've always talked about wanting to have a different solution for that. You know, I think if we can get together and talk about what's going on in our online, what you folks and Alyssa, if you can jump in on these discussions in a couple of weeks too, what you see coming down the pike with online education and alternate education, everything. So I'd like to have, if we can get together in a couple of weeks and get a report on that.
Okay.
So we can begin planning. It might be tough to get a true online academy up and running by next school year, but I'd sure like to try.
So you're thinking outside of BLA, a different
Outside
type
a different
okay.
solution. I mean, there are softwares out there that we can purchase that, you know, that are look like fairly decent curriculum softwares that then we augment with our teachers. With Corey on board here, you know, it may be such a thing. We're buying big screens for all of our teachers in classrooms or offices, and they've got 15 people that they're teaching. So yeah, I would like to see us, you know, this worked out great this year, but we can do better. We can do better. And I would love to get this set up in place by next school year, if at all possible. I personally, and we can talk more about this in a couple of weeks, I'm really worried about January. I'm worried the potential of a lot of the kids coming back into the buildings. And and if that's the case, we've still got to try to maintain close to 6 feet social distancing, et cetera. I mean, we're going to have to relook at everything.
Yeah, we've got a meeting set up for Thursday afternoon, and based on my calculations, there's about 830 kids that only signed up for first semester only.
That's bingo.
Meaning they're the
Bingo.
ones that could potentially come back.
They're going to be.
So we're going to put our plan together of how we find out which kids are coming back, how many can we take back, what does that look like in a classroom? So we'll spend time on the next couple.
So a good
weeks.
chunk of them are going to stay out because I think this is, you know, this virus is going to continue in through the winter. I mean, so I think a lot of these kids are going to stay. But if half of those kids decide to come back, we got
Where we put them?
where we put them.
Yeah.
Where do we put
Yeah,
them?
it's a concern. It's a concern. Okay.
The
So do
same
you
night-
want to report on that at the same time as,
I think that'd be great. Yeah.
okay,
Yep.
okay.
Could we also, at that same evening, have a small discussion or a short discussion about the preschool as well? Maybe drag out some of the old stuff that we already had and just kind of start working that back into the conversation, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of kids sitting out there that, you know, are going to show up at kindergarten in the next year or two that are going to be behind.
Well, we really only provided 20 ECE, early childhood education preschool spots. Those are typically developing kids. That's not very many, and there's a lot on a waiting list. And I know that it's kind of that way, you know, across the county right now. At the 11th hour, they did lift the numbers restriction, what used to be 9 for schools, and then they put it back to whatever the childcare facilities had. But we didn't feel like we really could keep kids safe if we went above 10. But you know, only serving 20 preschoolers is not really
No.
where we want to be.
And I think that's worth looking at in that meeting too. So I would agree. I think we operate under the assumption that what they're saying is correct, that there's going to be a vaccine or two available later, and it'll be out in full force next summer, next fall. Maybe at that point, I think we plan that we can start to get back to a little bit of normal next school year.
Mhm.
And if that's the case, then yeah, we've got to get a lot more of these kids in preschool. We've got a lot more.
Exactly.
Okay.
And as a board, we've always been, we don't care where these kids from. We don't care if these kids come from in the county and then go back to their county school for kindergarten. We want to provide as much early childhood education as possible to anyone we can reach.
Well, and back in the spring, well, I don't even know when it was anymore. Maybe it was the fall.
It was March when we'd had those.
We were working.
We were working with the
Amy
architects
Lee.
back at
Yeah.
beginning of March, wasn't it, Aaron? Beginning of March, wasn't it? Yeah.
I can't remember, but so we may be able to re-engage him after I meet with you guys in March.
Yep.
Or in October. Okay. All righty.
And there again, we're talking about things that are going to cost money, but also, I think are going to increase our enrollment. And, you know, preschool is just going to pay such a huge benefit in general for reports, cards, et cetera, et cetera. So anything we spend there is money well spent.
Yeah, and I'm sure that some of these programs we're talking about, we're going to be able to land some good grants as well.
We could, yeah.
So,
Okay, anything else?
Thank you.
Okay. Well, go ahead, Bill. Okay.
Are we testing our athletes for COVID?
Mr. Barron sitting back there.
I don't believe so.
Screening, but we're not testing.
Right. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Training is there, nothing. But
Yeah.
we're not actually giving them a COVID test every once a week or 2 weeks.
We are not.
No athlete.
But your results are 2 weeks to get, aren't they?
Coffee has ever been tested.
We wouldn't say that. There are recommendations that we can make, but that's a privacy issue that we can't really discuss openly. But what we do is if we find that a kid screens
Right.
or through the health department doing their social contact tracing, then yes, we would move forward with either quarantining or requiring a test in order for that student to participate.
Have we done that? I mean, have we screened someone and say you need testing?
No, we haven't.
From an athletic perspective only,
And I'll ask them for it.
we have had students that have tested, yes. I guess I'm not understanding.
Right now, it has to be a doctor's
My
order.
original question was, do we just like randomly?
No, we do not.
You can't.
No, we do not.
I don't believe you can do that.
Secondly, then, you're saying something, you're saying we're screening. I'm saying if we have a screened athlete or band member and they had a fever, so we said, go take the COVID test.
We can't do that either. So what we do at that point is recommend them to a medical professional who then would make the decision whether or not they become tested. We can't just send a student for testing as a school.
When we screen, what are we screening for?
It's the same set of questions that we ask every student every morning, essentially. They take the temperature, have you been exposed to anyone with COVID, upset stomach, I'm trying to remember all the questions, but fever,
Tired, or fatigue.
And so if they,
But the problem comes in, the HIPAA laws are so restrictive as to what you can do.
I'm going to make a problem testing of other athletes. I'm not advocating for testing. I was just wondering if we did.
And I think some of that as these new rapid tests come on the market, I don't think there's a lot of that happening in Ross County right now. I think it's still the PCR test jamming up
Yeah.
to the back of your
Then
brain.
wait 2 weeks or 10 days to get the results.
So,
We're currently working with the city of Chillicothe. Mayor Feeney has offered potentially, but we're still working through the details to have on-site testing. But that wouldn't be us to say we have to test this kid. We would have to get a waiver signed by a parent for a parent to say it's okay to test. But we think that if we're able to say at the school, yes, we have the capability to test, are going to be the plan right now, potentially provided by Adina. But that's all conversation right now and has not been finalized. But Mayor Feeney has put that out there. And also the city's offering to pilot with us a program where we're going to have some extra assistance from a nursing perspective to help Nurse Natalie to do the contact tracing. But the only time a student can ever be tested is if the parent consents. If a parent says, I want my kid to be tested based on what is said. Now, we can refuse or deny them the ability to come to school for X number of days based on the recommendations. But I think what you're saying is if we ever just said, hey, let's test the population maybe to see if anybody does have it. Is that what you're thinking, Mr. Bond?
Like NFL.
Yeah, just to see. And we've thought about that, but it's not, tests aren't readily available and there is a lot surrounding HIPAA laws and also liability issues. I mean, I think if we wanted to, we could explore that as a possibility just to see.
I wasn't advocating for that. There's a strong impression in the community that we are doing.
Seen our athletes, much like the colleges are.
Now, I'll tell you what, why a lot of that comes with that. Number one, we still drug test a lot of our athletes. But number two, up until the beginning of August, the state guidelines were if you participated in any organized sports, you had to have a COVID test before you played or practiced. So I think I'll bet a lot of the perception comes from that.
Was that did happen, it was going to have to be.
And during the summer, absolutely was. Yep, absolutely.
That was a statement, we have to be tested if
Yep.
you wanted to.
Yep, and then it changed after they.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, exactly, yeah,
they
exactly.
backpedaled on that and said it didn't apply, if my memory serves me.
Yeah, but when they put out for a K-12 athletes, that was taken out.
It was taken out,
That was
right.
taken out, so. Okay, so if, Debbie, if you could work on a meeting here in a couple weeks, a special meeting to go, and we can go through some of this and just a work session. Anything else? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Moved by Mr. Hartmus,
I second.
second by Mrs. Shoemaker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you.